Hello everybody and welcome to the June 2018 update from Clydebridge station. There's been a hell of a lot of work done on the layout this month and I'm going to talk you through each bit of it. Before I get underway with this month's update, I just want to also thank a gentleman on Twitter called Nick Mullins. You'll be able to follow him on Twitter @andnickmullins. He's a rugby union and tennis commentator with BT Sport and ITV. And he's actually recently gave my layout a little plug because we're debating Danny Cipriani, who at the time of filming today was making his first start for the England Rugby Union team for 10 years. And he was asking, and I told him what I had done in the difference between the 10 years between Cipriani's last start and this start, and he then later quoted one of my tweets about my layout and a photo of it. So thanks very much for the plug, Nick. Nick says that he wishes he had the room for a layout. Well, Nick, watch this video. We're in an 8x6 shed, and I'm sure if you ask your wife very nicely, I'm pretty sure she would allow you to have a little small layout. But also, Nick, have a look at some of the bigger layouts that I'll mention to you towards the end, and to everybody else as well. Anyway, let's get on with this month's update. I've got these two locomotives on one of the Fiddle Yard sidings in the South Fiddle Yard to demonstrate to you they are now equipped for DCC operation. Now, I've actually got on my Hornby Elite controller 444. And you can see there she is running. What we'll do is we'll just move. I'm not using point motors, by the way, on this layout. I don't feel the need for it with such a compact layout with everything to hand. But me actually running these locomotives on these sections of South Fiddle Yard also tells you something else that's happened since the last update, and that is that we've actually got these four sidings these four sidings here have been laid since the last update, which means that we're halfway through the laying of the South Fiddle Yard. And you could see there, the sidings have been tested thoroughly, and 47444 was in fact the locomotive used for the testing. And we'll bring 47436 back in. Now the four locomotives, 47475 and 47708 are the other two, have been fitted with Bachmann decoders. Now, if I actually come over here to the dump bit, and we'll explain more about all of this later on, but they've been given these decoders here, reliable dual mode 4-powered function outputs. Now, it doesn't actually support any sound as far as I'm aware, and I've tried to do that, but I can't see any sound on these decoders, so that's not an issue at all. But what I am able to do with the two locomotives is get cab lights and the front and headlights and the tail lights working on them, so that I'm quite happy with. And the thing is, they are DCC fitted now, which is great for once the station area is built, because also we can actually have a locomotive bring in the train and another locomotive going to the other end and take the train back out. But as you can see, half the Fiddle Yard here in the south bit has been done now, and it's all been tested. So what's now going to happen is that in July, this and this siding here will be replaced, as will the point work which approaches it, and in August it'll be these locomotive holding sidings that will get replaced. That means that probably by September time, all being well, we will have the station baseboards placed on top of here. That'll lead me to a problem that I'll have up here. I'm going to have to actually cut a piece of board to go all the way up there to fill that gap in. Now, that's going to be a little bit difficult, but I'm prepared to give it a go and get that on, and then that'll then be me ready to prime the boards and paint them. I've already got the boards, by the way. So the work is steadily in progress here in the South Fiddle Yard. While I'm actually here, by the way, Everard Junction has, in his latest video, he's went and put he's got the whole station area laid out track wise. Now he's laid down cork as well. It's a different thickness to that. That's not an issue. What he's done is he's then used, I think, copy decks and glued the track down. I've actually went and used panel pins that I've bought from B&Q, believe it or not, to attach my track. Now I prefer my method to Everard Junction's method for this simple reason. Once I've got the track down, I test it again. If I've got any problems at all, it's easy for me to lift the pins and then take the track back up and readjust it before putting it back down. And the cork is therefore not damaged. And Everard Junction, I feel what he's maybe done is, yes, it's good at using the copy decks and putting it down, it hides the pin heads, but it means that if he makes a mistake after it's glued down, he rips that up, he'll probably rip up the cork as well. So my own recommendation is that you actually go and pin the track down and not glue it down. I think that's a lot easier in the long run. But anyway, his track is running fine and my track is running fine, but it's just if you make mistakes, and we all do, and I'll be talking to you about a mistake in a few minutes. Now, while we're actually here in the South Fiddle Yard as well, I've had a wee problem with this coach here. On testing, the coupling broke off and it's stuck somewhere underneath the town scene, but it's where it's landed, it's not interfering in the running of trains, so it looks like it's going to be a new coupler. I'm going to have to get, these are Hornby Railroad coaches, the third one's actually in the depot area, forming part of the sleeper set. But yeah, these are Hornby Railroad coaches, and what I'm actually going to try and do carefully is, there you go, you could see there where it's actually come out of, and it just seems to sit in there. I've never had a Bachmann coach yet, so I don't know what if it's like on a Bachmann locomotive. Now in the Bachmann locomotive they actually clip, you push them in and they clip in, so it could only be removed with a screwdriver. If anybody out there has got Bachmann coaches, could you actually tell me please, are the couplings on Bachmann coaches ones that you, if I take this locomotive up a minute, does it ones that push into a socket like that and they clip in, meaning that you have to remove them with a screwdriver if you need to change a coupler? I'd be very interested to know that for future purchases of rolling stock, because I've had problems with the couplers coming out of the clips here on these Hornby Railroad coaches. So if you're watching that, anybody with Bachmann coaches, please could you get back to me on that one, and I'd appreciate your help. When I was testing out some of my coaches, including these regional railways coaches that were on the old layout Glasgow City and were obtained on eBay, and I encountered an unusual problem with them that I did not encounter with any of my Lima coaches nor the Hornby Railroad coaches. And I'll have to keep that track held down by hand there now. And that concerns the wheels. Now the original wheels, I've got them up here, are of this type, and you could see them there. What I was actually finding was on the Bachmann points that I've got installed, these are old Hornby points, but I'll demonstrate it to you nonetheless. When you're taking a coach and it was going up onto the points like that, it was then somehow hitting, at times, hitting the plastic bit just about there and causing the coach to derail. I'd done a lot of testing with this, and sometimes it done it, sometimes it didn't. But when I found that the Lima coaches and the Hornby Railroad coaches that you see here weren't having that problem, I examined and looked at it and I saw the different shapes of the wheels. So what actually I've discovered is two things. First of all, the wheels look to have a bit of a big gap, and I'll just put them on there. And you can see that's just rolling down there, but they do seem to have a little bit of a gap, and they're a bit thick. And they were just clipping there, and somehow for some reason we're going over, hitting the plastic and derailing. Now, I had some old Hornby Mark III coaches, that's the really short ones that are the same size as this, that were not to scale. And I tried the wheels off those on that. Now you can see the silver wheels, and they seem to work satisfactorily at most times. But what I've done is, I bought a pack of 10 railroad coach wheels, sorry. And I've put them on, and believe it or not, they're actually working absolutely fine now. It has done another thing, however, as well, and the coaches sit a couple of millimetres lower than what they used to do. Obviously, just a different size of the wheels. Now, the actual wheels that I've been using are these ones here. They go R8096, that's Romeo 8096 metal disc wheel axle set. And I've been using them on these two coaches here and half of this coach, and they're working fine. So I'm going to get another packet of them at some point. And as well as these coaches, I've got some old Hornby 1980s coaches in Intercity blue-grey livery that have silver wheels on them, and I've been having the same trouble with them. I'm going to replace them with the railroad coach wheels and try them and see if that makes any difference. Now, the other option I had was to replace these with new regional railways coaches and that. But that was only £8 for that packet of 10. I don't see why I should go for the dearer option first when I could try the cheaper option, and that was the cheaper option, and it's been successful. I am going to have to buy more rolling stock in the future, but that was an unusual problem that cropped up. Bachmann were very helpful, by the way. I did email Bachmann and they were very helpful about that. And they did have a feeling that it was probably the wheel set as well. And they did point out that Hornby did make their own wheels. I was thinking about putting Bachmann wheels into the Hornby coaches, but Hornby wheels have done just the job. So it was an unusual problem that's cropped up there. But good to report that it has actually been resolved now. But if you are actually modelling and you've got old coaches, Hornby coaches that date from the 90s in particular, that's a good thing to do, is check that they actually run over the track, because if they don't, you're going to have to change the wheels. As regards the old wheels that you see here, what am I going to do with them? I'm not going to throw them out. These are actually going to become very useful, because they'll sit around the depot area here eventually. Maybe sit outside the building or sit alongside the building just there. You can see spare wheels, you often get them sitting around. So they're going to have that use in the end as well. While we're up here at the depot area, you can see that I've now actually painted all of this here. And it's all been given a coat of emulsion. And it's a B&Q Colours Premium Durable emulsion called Dark Horse 2-tester pots, and if you're actually interested in buying that, it's in the kitchen and bathroom range at B&Q. Should stress other manufacturers and retailers' paints are available. The shaper sheet is dried quite fine, but there were a couple of little problems and I had to go and fill up some of the gaps. Now, in one instance, and you could see it here, I've used that there, and that's wood filler. It's done the job. But I used something else for the likes of along here where there was quite a big gap, and in here there was quite a big gap as well. I went and used something else, and what I used will surprise you, and I'll tell you that in a couple of minutes' time. I've got the depot building here, but that's not glued into position. But that's where it will sit eventually, just in that spot there. Now, in my last video, the May update, I had debated about whether to put the fueling point here, where you could just mark out the words fuel, or put it up here. And one person did reply to commented on my video, and they actually recommended that I put the fueling point up at this end. So it will go at this end. It might sit here, it might sit there. I haven't made up my mind yet, but that's where the fueling point will now go. But I will retain the 3 roads there at the depot, 2 undercover and 1 at the side there. That will not change at all. Now the 2 buildings at the depot are in place. We have the depot office and the signal box, and they're sitting on some balsa wood that's been cut to shape, and I do know that it hasn't been cut to shape properly, but I'll try and resolve that somehow in the future. The buildings have not yet got any lettering on it, but that'll come at a point in the future. And the car park, I've done work on that as well. As you can see, we've got some white lines painted to accommodate 6 vehicles, so we've also got 1 van in there already, but you'll be able to get 6 vehicles sitting in there eventually. These bits here will have yellow chevrons put on so they're kept clear at all times. I don't know what I'll put in here yet, possibly a substation. I'm not sure exactly yet what I'm going to do with that substation, maybe gates to get into that area. But I haven't fully decided upon that yet. The white lines I accept are not actually perfect, and you could just see just points there. They're not perfect, but they are suitable for what I'm needing anyway. You saw earlier 47436 come up the tunnel and into the station area, the station throat, and you'll notice that I've actually ballasted it down and put some scenic materials in. Now there's a couple of things I need to point out here straight away. You'll notice that I haven't ballasted here or here. Why I've done that is I'm going to get dummy point motors that'll sit there and there, and then I could ballast round them. That'll actually replicate what's on the real railway. And I've only ballasted all of this area because this is this is all I have, a new track on the top that I can ballast, but B, I've got signs that I want to put in round about here and here, and there'll also be some signage here as well for the depot entrance. Now those signs will come at a later date. I'm going to order them from 10 Commandments. I know David Watson at Dean Park has got a lot of stuff from them in the past, so that's what will be coming in here in the future. The grassy material that you see there, well, I think I got these from a long closed model shop in Dunfermline, Abbey Models. The gentleman who ran it retired last year. But you just simply stick some PVA on the other side and then glue it down, as I've done like so there, and it makes that sort of effect. I've got the cable trunking in. I've just got to go and put some orange cables in at certain points, and I will do that in the near future, and maybe put a little bit on there and a little bit on there, for instance. So there'll be cable trunking going on that in the near future. With regards to everything else, the cable trunking is in position. Here are some relay boxes. They're Will's relay boxes, they're Hornby relay boxes, one in my hand there, so I think the Hornby ones look actually better. The boxes themselves are now glued in position, as are the signal brackets, signal posts that you see there. I won't have working signals on the layout, by the way. I'm not confident with my electrical skills on that. But this whole area is now ballasted, and the points do work as well. I'll be testing them. Once I'd actually laid the ballast, what I'd done was ran a locomotive 47436 up and down before it was all glued. I went with a screwdriver and I just done this along all the track to make sure that it was all working and it was all clear of ballast, and tamped it down using a brush, and everything was absolutely fine. And so, having checked it and tested it twice, glued the ballast down. The next day the ballast was dry, ran 47436 again around the glued area, and it's still working fine. So it adds a bit of realism to the layout. And those of you who follow him on Instagram, robert.clark125, will have seen some photos of 47436, I believe, and 47475 pulling their trains into the station area. You'll notice that I've now got the shaper sheet up on here. I'm just going to leave that as is. It's not ideal, but I've got no choice. Now, one of the problems I had up here was when I was bending the shaper sheet to meet here, I also had a big hole here to fill. So I used something quite unusual for here, and also to extend the rock face into the tunnel slightly. And it's stuff that I've also used down here. And I've also mentioned it is ready in the depot. And it's actually car body repair filler. Now, I used that because I've got it, and I used it before in the house on a hole. We've got a light at the bottom of the hallway, and there was a hole left, and I trying to get ordinary filler into it was just dropping down. But car body repair filler, you spread it over 2 or 3 layers, and it did actually do the job and dried in 15 minutes. So that's what I used there to fill the hole up. Quite good stuff actually. If you've never used it before, you get the tin with the actual mastic and the hardener, and it's a golf ball size of the mastic to filler to a pea of hardener, and you mix it together, and once it's mixed together, act quickly, because it will dry within 15 minutes, and it actually then will form to a good paste, and you can actually, if you need to, you could sand it down, but then you could just straight away paint it if you so wish. And that's what I done there, and that's how I was able to extend the rock face partly into the tunnel there as well, and it covered over some screw holes. It's very unusual. I've never actually seen any other model railway videos where people have actually used car body repair filler to fill in holes, but as I say, I used it because I have it. There was no point me going out and buying proper filler when I've already got something that can do the job. And you'd be hard pressed to tell that it is actually car body repair filler on there. I've also got this one here, this retaining wall, but that's going to be in the next bit here when the station area gets built, and probably sitting at a slight angle and coming away. I've got an idea of what I'd like to actually put in this bit here, but I'm going to keep that a secret. I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to use, what I'm going to put up there just yet. That's for another time. Work on the town scene has progressed quite well, although at the moment part of the town scene is more like a builder's yard. But I've got the Headingley Insurance building, and I've got the NatWest Bank in position, telephone box and the War Memorial there. And I've also got the road lines painted here. These are not transfers, this was just simply painted on by me. It looks a bit rough there, but I suppose traffic going across it, it's not perfect. What will happen next here is I'm going to have to get order these from 10 Commandments, double yellow lines that will go down here and here, because this is a one-way street, no entry signs, and we'll have to get street lights in here as well. There's a wee gap just up there, a little alleyway. It's just like some sort of alleyway from maybe a car park or something, or even where the cash machine might be at the bank. And once the lines are down there, what I'll then do is I'll get some more balsa wood to come around here, and it'll come onto the road area like this. And I have a little cunning plan for this whole area here. The brickwork will come along like that, and if there's any gaps left, I'll use the car body repair filler to fill the gaps up, and then we'll just get muck put on that and vegetation. In place here is the office block. That's actually going to be a council office. I'll get some signage for that made up at some point. We've got the menswear shop, the accountants, a chip shop and a chemist. Now if I zoom in very carefully to the menswear shop and contrast that with the chip shop and the chemist, you'll notice there's no backing there we go, on the menswear shop. There you go. When I was actually taking it off the old layout, the backing got stuck to the balsa wood, so what I've decided to do is just leave it as is, and I'm going to try and create a little sign that will be pointing out in a sort of triangle shape, like a for sale sign. Even when this layout was set in 1989, there were shops that were closed down. So shops being empty on the high street in 1989 is in 2018 is nothing new. It was there in 1989 as well. One problem I have encountered is a big mistake of mine, and that's these road lines here. You can see them, they're absolutely rubbish, so I'm going to have to actually remove them, probably paint over them, and then what I'll do is I'll get some new road markings ordered, a couple of websites that do them, and I'll stick them down instead. The bus stop shelter is there, but it's not gluing in position, but I think putting it about there will be just ideal with the Western Scottish single decker there. The wall, as I say, will come along here, and as I say, even like say here, we'll put cardboard or repair filler in to cover over up to where the wall will be, and then we'll put some vegetation in. I'm also going to cut a couple of small pieces of paper and stick them on, simulate paper that's blown over the wall, landed in the vegetation. So work on the town scene has progressed quite well, but with the weather being as good as it is now, I'm probably going to step back a little bit from the layout and do very little next month and in August as well. I'll mainly just be concentrating on the fiddle yard. Now we're going to finish off this month by having a look at this here. I have actually pre-planned some track for this bit here, but obviously I can't really put it down until I've got the baseboards in place. But I have pre-planned some track out, and this head shunt is going to finish here. And that is capable of taking an 08 shunter and 3 Mark II coaches. So that's where the head shunt will finish, just there. And these will be your up and down lines and access into the station into the station area, with the crossover line access onto the up line and access into the depot. The one thing I'm not sure about here yet, maybe let people have their own thoughts on this, is I've seen a couple of websites that sell fencing, chain link fencing that goes, that you can put in position. I'm swithering about whether to put it in between the head shunt and this running line, or put it in between the head shunt and the buildings. The head shunt is part of the depot. This is the main line. I'd like to know what you think. Should I put it in between the main line and the head shunt, or between the head shunt and the depot buildings? So it's either here or here. Let me know what you think about that, because I'm not quite there yet, not ready to actually get the chain link fencing in position just yet, but I would like to know so I can be prepared for it. Now that's just about it for this month, but I mentioned to you earlier on in the update about Everard Junction. He's went and made his track base, and he's got track down now and trains running on it. That's video number 5 of his layout, his new layout, so check him out. And David Watson's layout, Dean Park Station, set in the same region and era as mine, the Scottish region, 1989-1990 era. He's got his layout there as well, and he's actually recently had, and I believe it's in the current, which will be the July issue of Hornby magazine, he's got an article published about his S&T signalling and technicians facility that he was building. He devoted a couple of videos to that, and if you watch that and get the magazine as well, you'll learn some more about it. New Junction started doing what I've done and laid some ballast now in his layout too, so do check him out, and he'll be very pleased to see, for the support. And also, if you get a chance to Newcastle Central, which is another layout that's going to be set in the same era as my layout and David Watson's layout. Now, just before I do finally wrap up, as I say, with the weather being as good as it is, I've got to get stuff done in the garden, and I've got some other commitments. So it's looking like in July, the only major work I'll do on the layout will be to replace these sidings here, and then in August it'll be these sidings here. So you're not going to see the baseboards for the station area until at least September. And once that's done, it'll be old track will be going on it first to get everything planned out. So I'm still quite a long way away yet from getting trains running into a station, but as we've already seen, 47436 has managed to go up the ramp and into this area. So we now at least have trains running into the top bit. So that completes this month's update. Thank you very much indeed for watching. If you've got any comments, suggestions or questions, please do put them in the comments bit of this video, and I'll do my best to reply or answer to you. And for those that have gave suggestions out already, thank you very much for your assistance. And I also hope for those of you that are laying Bachmann points and have got old Hornby coaches, that the advice I gave you about the wheels is useful to you as well. Thank you very much, and we shall see you next month. Goodbye for now.